The year was 2025, a time marked by uncertainty and quiet desperation. In Rajasthan, the land was parched, the sky empty, and hope nearly gone. The once fertile fields now stretched endlessly, cracked and lifeless, under a relentless sun. The monsoon was a memory, the wells hollow, and the village of Alwar on the verge of abandonment. Water, the lifeblood of the village, had vanished, leaving behind only echoes of laughter and life. Scientists came and left, offering warnings but no solutions. Their words hung in the air, heavy with concern, but the villagers needed more than warnings. They needed hope. The people prepared to leave, their hearts heavy, but one story was just beginning. Amidst the exodus, a quiet determination lingered. It was not found in data, but in the deep lines of an old farmer's face. His wrinkles told stories of seasons past, of resilience and loss. The land was trying to speak, and only one man still listened. He stood alone, feeling the wind, hearing the whispers of the earth beneath his feet. Raghav Singh, a simple farmer, believed the earth could heal if treated with respect. He remembered the old ways, the wisdom of his ancestors, and trusted in the slow work of nature. While others saw an ending, he saw a pause, a land not dead, but sleeping. He believed that patience and care could awaken it once more. He trusted in forgotten wisdom, passed down through generations. He shared these lessons with the young, planting seeds of hope for the future. The world searched for a hero in a lab coat. It would find one in a cotton dhoti. True strength, he believed, was rooted in the soil and in tradition. In the silence of Alwar, resilience stirred. Even as the village slept, a quiet hope began to grow, fragile but persistent. The answer was not in fighting nature, but in working with it. Together, the villagers could learn to listen, adapt, and survive. The greatest challenges sometimes yield to the simplest truths. In the heart of hardship, the seeds of renewal are sown, waiting for the right moment to bloom. Raghav Singh's hands were as cracked and weathered as the land he loved, each line a testament to years of toil beneath the harsh sun. Each dawn, before the world awoke, he walked his barren field, reading the soil's silent story with his fingers, searching for hope in the dust. To others in the village, he was a relic of a fading past, but to the earth, he was a loyal friend, one who listened when no one else would. He remembered his grandfather's lessons, stories passed down like seeds, meant to be planted in the mind and the soil alike. The kedri tree's deep roots, reaching for water hidden far below, taught him resilience. The power of contour mounds to hold precious water, shaping the land to catch every drop, was a wisdom born of necessity. These were not just theories or old tales, they were the difference between life and loss, between survival and surrender. As neighbors sold their cattle and left their homes behind, defeated by drought, Raghav began to dig, refusing to abandon the land. With only a shovel and his bare hands, he carved winding trenches along the land's natural curves, following the wisdom of the old ways. Villagers watched from a distance, puzzled and skeptical, as he planted native seeds in the dry earth. Kedri, Rohita, people, each chosen for their strength and their promise, along the trenches he had shaped. He was not just planting trees, he was inviting the rain, calling back the monsoon with every hopeful sapling. His actions were small, nearly invisible to the eye, but he believed that true change always began with a single seed and a stubborn hope. Each day, he worked in rhythm with the land, undeterred by doubt or the whispers of those who had given up. The land, he knew, had a memory of green, of rain, of abundance, and Raghav was determined to help it remember its own strength. He moved with patience, faith, and a quiet defiance, trusting that his efforts would one day bear fruit. The earth, he believed, could be healed, one seed, one season, and one stubborn old man at a time. In the heart of the village square, Raghav's work became the subject of ridicule and endless gossip. The villagers, gathered under the banyan tree, whispered and laughed, their doubts echoing through the dusty air. Young Karen, who had just returned from the city, dismissed Raghav's efforts with a wave of his hand. "Modern problems need modern solutions," he declared, his voice carrying the confidence of city life. The elders, worn down by years of relentless drought and failed harvests, nodded in agreement, their hope fading with each passing season. Raghav heard the whispers and felt the weight of their skepticism, but he trusted in the land's quiet resilience, believing it held secrets the others had forgotten. When Karan offered him chemical fertilizers, promising quick results, Raghav shook his head and replied, "Your science makes the land thirsty. My way teaches it patience, and patience is what the earth truly needs." Even the children mocked him, calling him the rain catcher, as they watched him dig in the parched earth, but Raghav kept working, undeterred by their laughter. At home, his family pleaded with him to give up and leave the barren fields behind, but Raghav wrote back to them, "A tree does not leave its roots just because the season is dry. Our roots hold us steady, even in the harshest times." He stayed, waiting for the rain, his faith unshaken by the doubts of others. Each day, he looked to the sky, searching for a sign, holding on to hope. Words alone would not convince the village. Only the results of his labor could change their minds. Until then, he stood alone. Alone, he worked, planting seeds of hope in the dust, believing that even the driest soil could one day bloom again. His resolve was a quiet rebellion against despair, a silent promise to himself and to the land he loved. The land was his companion, his oldest friend, and he would not abandon it, no matter how harsh the season or how loud the doubts. Raghav's faith was not just for himself, but for the soul of Alwar, for the generations who would one day walk these fields. He believed with every fiber of his being that the earth would answer patience with renewal, and that hope, once planted, would find a way to grow. His letter was a promise, to himself, to his family, and to the land. "I will wait for the rain and I will not give up." 2 years passed. Raghav's land began to change. Where others saw dust, his field showed green shoots and native grasses. Insects returned, then birds, their songs tentative but hopeful. One afternoon, dark clouds gathered, the first in years. The villagers watched in awe as rain began to fall. On most land, water rushed away, carving scars. But on Raghav's farm, the trenches held the rain, letting it soak deep into the earth. The soil drank, the trees held firm, and erosion was stopped. His land became a sponge in a world of stone. The villagers saw the difference. Raghav's plot grew greener as theirs washed away. Children who once mocked him now watched in silence. The air filled with the scent of wet earth, life reborn. It was more than rain, it was validation. The sky had answered patience with renewal. The land remembered how to live. Raghav's faith had summoned the rain. Change was slow, but undeniable. Raghav's well filled, his trees thrived, and his land became an oasis. News spread, the farmer who brought back the rain. A journalist's story, the man who listened to the land, went viral. The world marveled at his simple, powerful methods. Scientists arrived, measuring, studying, and naming his techniques. They called it the Alwar model, biosequestration, hydrological regeneration. Raghav listened, smiling. He needed no fancy words. He had simply given the earth a chance to heal. Invitations poured in from around the world. Raghav, reluctant at first, realized his story belonged to the land. He spoke to world leaders, not in data, but in the language of earth and rain. His wisdom captivated all who listened. The world found hope in Alwar. Raghav's transformation inspired his village. Even Karan sought his guidance. Together, the villagers dug trenches, planted saplings, and healed the land. The water table rose, wells filled, and greenery returned. Birds flocked back, and the village thrived. They grew more than crops. They cultivated a future. Raghav remained humble, crediting the earth for the miracle. "I only listened to the land," he told visitors. He used his prize money to start a school, teaching children both reading and traditional farming. Alwar became a symbol tradition, and modernity could work together. The story was a lesson in patience, respect, and the quiet power of individuals. The village harvested hope, not just grain. The land and its people were reborn. Raghav's story is not about one man's miracle, but nature's. The earth is a living system, not a resource to exploit. Raghav's humility healed the land. He invited the rain, not commanded it. The greatest wisdom is written in the soil, not just in books. His doctorate was empathy for the earth. Every person can be a custodian of the planet. The solutions to our challenges lie in millions of small, local actions. Alwar became a beacon of possibility. Despair is a choice, not a destiny. The earth responds to care, not conquest. Raghav's legacy is the idea that we can heal our relationship with nature. The ground beneath our feet is a guide to the future. Hope is rooted in the soil, waiting for us to listen.
What's something people don't know about stories? They never truly end. There's always a new adventure waiting for you. Just pick your next tale and I'll meet you there. Subscribe to the Story Circle and let me know which story I should tell next in the comments.